Welcome to Visualize, the podcast where collaboration fuels change. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and each week we'll explore incredible connections between nonprofits, businesses, and the community. This is a space where we highlight inspiring partnerships, uncover strategies for creating meaningful impact, and share stories that show how working together can make all the difference. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, a business owner, or someone just passionate about building connections, this podcast is for you. Welcome back to Visual Eyes. But before we get started, we wanted to say a huge heartfelt thank you to our brand partner for this episode, Tony Ann Kunes and Kunes Plumbing. Kunes Plumbing's team takes the stress out of plumbing problems, offering honest service and real solutions that you can count on. Whether it's a routine upkeep or unexpected emergency, they'll make sure that your water keeps flowing smoothly. We're proud to have Tony Ann and Kunes Plumbing supporting this podcast. Visit kunesplumbing.com or check out the description notes below to see how they can help you with your plumbing needs. And now, let's get on with the show. So today we have Myrna Meeroff from South Florida Chamber Ensemble. Did I get that right this time?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. So welcome to the show. It's so great to have you. Tell us a little bit about the ensemble and a little bit about yourself.
So I started the ensemble 14 years ago because I had lost my job and I moved back here from Washington, D.C. and I was pregnant and no one would hire me in the orchestra. So I thought, okay, I know nothing about business. Why don't I just start my own ensemble? And that was the days before AI. So I did a lot of reading at the library. I did a lot of asking questions of other organizations, and knowing nothing about business, started the ensemble.
Wow. So how long did it take you to actually read through all of the information you're trying to put together, and how long has the ensemble been in business?
I mean, it took me about 6 months to start the ensemble and get us the status, the nonprofit status.
Yeah.
And we got our first grant from the Health Foundation of South Florida, $1,000.
Okay.
And we're off to the races.
Sometimes that's where we all start, is something, just a little push, and then it, builds from there. So what sparked you to build this chamber ensemble?
So the real reason that I decided to do this is because you sit in the back of an orchestra, nobody sees you. You play Beethoven's Fifth Symphony every year, and there's so much more interesting music out there, and I wanted to explore all of that. So I started looking at, music from ancient times. I started looking at music from strange places like Australia, like Aboriginal Australian music. I was, looking all over the world for these very interesting and unique pieces of music. And then I had to arrange everything, because none of that stuff is written for the ensemble in its current form.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So when you're actually rewriting it, what goes into creating that type of ensemble pieces?
So it's trying to make the piece sound like the full version, with only 2 or 3 players. And for example, we can play the entire Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, all 4 movements, with just me on horn and my clarinetist.
Really?
Yes. It doesn't work with every piece of music.
Sure.
Sometimes it's, I try really hard to make it fit, and I can't make the piece work. Like, we've tried some more contemporary things. Like, I really wanted to do Man in the Mirror.
Okay.
And it just didn't work. So I had to abandon it.
So how many different instruments do you normally pull into the ensemble?
Well, we started out as a quintet.
Okay.
So woodwind quintet, but we had a problem scheduling. 5 people's time. That's all I ever did was, are you free this time? Are you free this time? Are you free this time? Oh no, the 5th person's not free this time. And so we're like, well, let's try 3 players. And that was a little bit easier to manage. But because of budget cuts, we're currently down to 2 players.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, okay, the ensemble's over when when the cuts came from the state, I thought, we're done. There's no way we can do anything with two. And it's amazing what we've been able to do with two.
Well, the scheduling has to be a lot easier. Now you're only just looking at 2 people instead of, 5. So that's a bonus. And where are you guys mostly performing right now?
I mean, we are in all 3 counties.
Okay.
We don't do as much work in Palm Beach County. Most of the work, I would say, is in Broward now because of the cuts. But
Okay.
before, we did a lot more work in Dade County.
Okay. So why is it so important to have live performances, especially in music? What is your take on that?
I mean, when people come to our performances, they can look at us and they can see the emotions that we're feeling as we are playing the music. And that you don't get in a huge concert hall. You can't even see anybody. They can't even really see you depending on, how much lighting there is. So these intimate performances give us an opportunity to share our stories and also to get the feedback from the audience. And every time we do a concert, there's always someone in the audience that has a question. Sometimes they interrupt us in the middle of the piece, which is fine. I tell people, you're welcome to heckle us if that's what you want. I said, but you're going to get heckled back by me at some point. But we love the engagement with the audience because the pieces of music that we play are usually not things that people know.
Well, what's actually kind of nice about that is if people are actually engaging with you in the middle of a piece, I mean, yes, you would love to be able to play the whole thing, but there's also curiosity. There's some type of creativity that's sparking within them to even, want to ask. So I think that there's some valuable information and component to that because it is that exchange of energy and exchange of music and life that really comes into it. What is your personal why with sharing music with the community?
Music has an incredible power to heal. And I can share a personal story about it. In December of last year, I played 46 concerts in 22 days.
46 and 22.
Yes.
Wow.
And I'm still reeling from it. I got sick, so sick that I almost died. And I realized that I had to get back to the music, because I was just sleeping all day and trying to, get everything back together. But as soon as I went back into the office, as it were, and I started playing my music and sharing it, it healed me. And that's really what the ensemble is about, because music has that power to heal anything.
I agree. I was, for me, even today, I've been kind of I had a little bit of a down moment and I had to put some music on to just get myself flowing and kind of dance, you know what I mean? Like just get myself moving again. So I do understand that the music does have a healing component. How did it, so going back into your story here, but how did you get so sick? Like what brought you to that down moment where you were sleeping all the time? And
Well, I was diagnosed with epilepsy 2 years ago, and I've been struggling with the medications and the brain fog that comes with it, and it's made playing very difficult. But I knew that I had to keep playing because it was the only thing that gave me joy. It was what was feeding me.
it's your life force.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So what inspires you to keep performing year after year?
I mean, I'm gonna do this until I die. I say all the time to my kids, I say, You're gonna be embarrassed by your by your mom being on the stage, at 100 years old, dancing in 5-inch heels and singing and playing music, because it's what gives me life.
Well,
It's my happy place.
you have to do what makes you
Mm.
happy, because honestly, otherwise, life is just kind of monotonous. So I'm glad that this brings you joy. I'm glad this brings you happiness. So one of the other parts that we talk about here on the show is collaboration. So what are some of the collaborative partners that you've got to work with that's kind of helped keep your music going?
We've had some amazing partnerships. One of my favorites was a partnership between WaterAid US, WaterAid UK, um, us and another all-female ensemble. We went to London and we worked with WaterAid on a series of concerts there. And I had the opportunity to meet one of my favorite actors, Tobias Menzies.
Okay.
He was not, unfortunately, able to come to the performances because he was in the process of doing a show there. But it was really amazing to see what WaterAid UK was doing versus what we were doing with WaterAid US. And then that was one of my favorites. Another one that I really enjoyed was during the pandemic. We did a partnership with the Innocence Project of Florida, where we interviewed 3 recently exonerated people that had been in jail for more than 30 years. And
Wow.
they talked about, I spoke with them about, how the arts got them through the experience. And with one of those exonerees, we helped him create his first art exhibit.
Oh, wow.
And now he is a visual artist.
What type of art what type of visual art is he mostly focusing on?
His artwork is it's personal. It's about places that he wanted to go and things that he wanted to do that he wasn't able to
Okay.
when he was in jail. And also this was, the way that he got through those 30 years. I can't imagine being incarcerated. And he's the kindest person I've ever met. He said to me, when he got out, he's like, if I just wanted to eat an orange, I could eat an orange. And it's so simple, but it's so profound.
That is, the more that you think about that, yeah, that is kind of a profound, ability to just be able to have that freedom and that expression away from there. So when you said visual arts, I'm trying to understand, is it film or is it photography or is it painting?
Paintings.
It's paintings. Yeah. Okay. So he actually is painting the places that he wanted to go.
Yes.
How are you currently capturing those moments?
We record everything that we do.
Okay.
Some of the spaces are very small, and so you can see kind of all the audience reaction, which I like. I like these, very intimate settings. And sometimes it's a little bit larger so that you can't really see everyone's emotion. But one of my friends, when I first started the ensemble, he would come to the concerts and he's like, I can see that you're holding back the tears. Like, why are you holding back your emotion? And I'm like, well, I need to, keep that to myself because I don't want to upset the audience. And then, I one time we were it was something from Les Miserables, which is my favorite book and my favorite musical. And I just burst into tears and I couldn't stop myself. And it was one of the greatest moments in the 14 years that, we've been in business, to really share that with the audience and then to have someone else in the audience stand up and share something about themselves. It's very hard to get people to talk about things and to open up. And that's where the mental health part of our mission came from.
Yeah.
Is when I realized, okay, if I tell everybody what's happening with me, then they will feel comfortable enough to talk about what's happening to them.
True. And also, when you actually let out the emotion, I think the performance is that much more. And it's better, it's stronger, everybody can feel it to the fullest extent. I know when you want to hold it in, it's like, okay, I got to be professional. But sometimes just letting it out just really connects your audience to what you're performing. So I'm glad that you were able to do that with Les Mis. So, wow. How can other community partners and groups work and collaborate with you to keep music more alive?
We've done lots of collaborations, not just in the arts, but outside of the arts.
Okay.
And in some of those cases, we're bringing music. In some of those cases, we're doing something different, so that these groups can kind of see options that they have. When you think of musical organizations, most people think, okay, I'm going to be sitting, I'm going to be listening to a concert,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to have no engagement whatsoever. And then I'm going to go home and listen to music on the radio. So what we're trying to do with music is trying to connect it to everything so that people can see how well it goes with something. So, for example, we just started working with an after-school program, doing a math and science program.
Oh, wow. I
And
mean, there is a lot of math in music.
absolutely. And we had 645 kids in the program, and they had to do reading comprehension and math um, together, and then they got to do the scientific experiments.
Okay.
And the kids just ate it up. And I was afraid. I thought, okay, I'm going to be working with kids, and they're not going to want to do. If I tell them math, everybody's going home early. But they loved it. They engaged with all the science and all of the math. Like, no one complained about having to do a math problem.
Wow.
And that's huge,
If
I
that
think.
it's extremely huge, because that's math is usually the one that actually most kids that I know of, have a complaint with, because it's too hard of a complex question or the problem is too hard. But you added music to it, and it made it easier for them.
Yes, I mean, that's what I mean, is that you can put music with anything, and it enhances anything that you do.
So,
How many people are listening to the radio in
hmm
the car? How many people use it to fall asleep at night?
sure.
If you think about it, it connects to every part of our lives.
I like how you said that, it can connect everywhere. So where do you see it connecting with future programs or the future of the ensemble nonprofit that you have in your growth? What does the future look like?
So I want to expand into some artistic arenas that people are not really going into, like opera, for example.
Okay.
We most recently partnered with Dade County Schools to do an opera, a cycle of 4 operas where the 4th graders are creating and performing their own original operas.
Wow.
And how I hooked them in was the first opera was a soccer opera. So I walked into the room the first day. I said, "We're going to do opera." They're like, "Oh, man." And then I said, "And it's a soccer opera." And then the whole class was
Like,
just went ballistic.
I love it. Okay. So what is a soccer opera? Like, how does this flow? How does this work?
So there's a storyline. We did kind of like a Romeo and Juliet sort of thing,
Okay.
except it was like two best friends who played on the same soccer team, and one accidentally injures the other and can no longer play. So it's
Okay.
kind of like the tale of the two, and then that player finally heals and he wants revenge. So he challenges his old friend to a game. But we included like a halftime show, which normally isn't part of a soccer
No,
game.
not really, but okay.
And the students made like instruments that would go in the crowd. Like if you go to a soccer game, there's people like, with the vuvuzelas and the drums and all of that stuff. So there was music included in that. And then we created an original song that has the names of all the different ways to say soccer around the world.
Oh, wow.
So there was a lot of other learning that happened inside of that, which is why I love opera as a vehicle, because it connects to every art form.
Wow, I love that, because now you're actually teaching them different words and different phrases, soccer, different languages. I mean, there's so much that went into that. And this was 4th grade, you said?
4th grade ESOL students. So they were
Wow.
learning English as they were working on this project. And by the end of the school year, they were almost exclusively talking to us in English. And I'm like, you could still use the Spanish.
Yeah, no, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's the side effects of what it is. The second opera that we did was Carmen.
Okay.
But of course we had to modify it because it's a tragedy. But all of them learned all the dances. No one complained about having to do flamenco or any of that stuff. They were all doing it. And I sang the opera in French. And as we were doing the rehearsals, I'm like, that was French behind me. They're singing in French. I'm like, where did they learn the French? They learned the French just from the rehearsals that we did.
Yeah.
And they sang in French. They may not know what they're saying, but at least.
Well, when you're talking about music and you're talking about languages, one of the fastest ways to actually learn a new language is through music
Yes.
and through song. So I completely understand what you're saying. And so to showcase that through opera in fourth grade, that's fantastic. Like, it was such a win for them, and it must have been such a success feeling for you to go, wow, all of these people are speaking French and at the end of it. So I love that. I absolutely love that. So one final shout out to thank you to Kunes Plumbing for sponsoring this episode. And as we wrap up, we have one question that we ask everybody that comes onto the show. What is the legacy that you hope to leave for future generations?
I want people to know that music heals everything, and that you don't need to take any magic pills. You don't need to change your lifestyle. That you can always find a way using music.
Tune into your own music rhythm inside your own body, and anything is possible.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. Myrna, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't had a chance, please check out the South Florida Chamber Ensemble. And how can they connect with you and find where you're going to be performing next?
So you can go to our website, which is sfcemusic.com, and all the information you need is there.
Wonderful. Thank you again for being on the show. And
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Visualize. We hope that the inspiration and practical insights can help you foster stronger connections and meaningful change. Don't forget to subscribe, share the episode, and leave us a review. To learn more about Visuals by Momo and how we support collaboration and storytelling, visit visualsbymomo.com. A huge thank you to everyone out there listening. Until next time, remember, collaboration fuels change, and your connections can inspire the world.